peace, y'all, and high frequencies. T-shirts coming soon in this month. No, I'm just playing, y'all. Oh, this page is not dedicated to trying to sell or hustle or come up in any type of way. I just really want to share my dreams and be an outlet for those who are interpreters or those who these dreams and information resonate with. But I am gonna get them damn t-shirts made, y'all, and if you want one, holler at me, you know. But anyway, I want to talk about my dream last night. When I woke up this morning, and I had two parts of a dream, because I woke up, I worked out, and then I went back to sleep. And every time that I go back to sleep, you all know I dream again. So roll the windows up so it won't be so much noise in y'all ears. This is what occurred in the first part of the dream, y'all. So in the first part of the dream, I'm in my old church. And if you know me, you know I grew up Kojic. I've talked about this before. I grew up Church of God in Christ, located here in good old Memphis, Tennessee. And my mother was into Kojic. My father was a black Muslim with the Nation of Islam, and so I was able to look at two different perspectives in religion, you know, especially as I got older and was really able to, you know, dissect it a little bit deeper. And so in the dream space, I was at my old church, and he's deceased now. He transitioned years back. But the pastor, which is, if you all are familiar, was J.O. Patterson Jr., not Sr., he was actually preaching. It was really weird, y'all. I don't know what he was talking about. He was talking about things that he had ate. He was talking about lasagna and all kind of stuff. Didn't make any sense. But the congregation was really into it, and I was telling them, like, you know, I was trying to talk to somebody, and I was like, why are y'all listening to this? Why are y'all so into this? Like, what is, you know? And so, my consciousness leaves and go to this location in which it was almost like I was on some bridge of sorts, but on this bridge there was a line of armed soldiers. And when I'm saying armed soldiers, if you remember, if you've seen any like old like Roman movies or Greek movies or whatever, I don't even know what culture it is, but they have on this armor. It's like this tin silver armor from head to toe with the helmet and everything from head to toe. They're in complete armor, and that's what they had on. And it was a line of them. So I said something. I can't even recall, y'all, what I said or did. But all of the armor of these men dropped to the ground and disassembled. There weren't any bodies inside of this armor either. It was just, the armor just fell. Now, at first they were moving. Sorry about that. At first they were, you know, standing there moving like they was about to do something to me. And then I said or did something. I cannot remember, y'all, what I said or did. And the armor fell. Okay? So, and I'm maneuvering traffic as well. I like to talk and drive sometimes, y'all. It helps me. My mind has to do two things. It's almost like when I'm studying, like I have to have the TV and music on. Like I can't, my mind has, one side has to be doing work, the other side has to be, the right side of the brain has to be into music, the left side of the brain has to be working too analytical. So I have to have two things going. But anyway, so the armor falls from these men or whatever they were, these spirits in these suits, but one stays. So one armored suit stays up. Now this one armored suit helmet flies up. When I get to it, it's like my consciousness shoots to this one armored suit. His front part of his helmet flies up. He still has it on, but the front part flies up. There's not a body in there, But my consciousness flies in, or a part of me, not all of me. I'm still looking from a third eye view. Another part of me jumps in through the face of this armor. And the face of it, and I was looking at, part of me jump in, and it was a beautiful, garden area. It was like a lot of greenery and trees. It was beautiful. What one may want to call Garden of Eden, right? And so I jump into that helmet. Part of me jumps in. My other part of me consciousness is still, because remember, we're omniscient, omnipresent, we're everywhere at all times. And so part of me is still looking, part of me is inside of this armored helmet and person. And then the energy of the armored person, I heard it telepathically say, how are you able to control me? I can't even control myself anymore. It was saying, how was I able to control it and do these things? It did not understand it. So, that was the first dream I had, y'all. And I typed it up, gave you a little snapshot of that end snippet, I would say, in Blackfit Witch on Instagram. Now I want to go into the second part of the dream. What's going on? My phone going up. So, of course, I wake up, I work out, I go back to sleep. Probably for another hour or so before I had to get up and go to work. So in the second part of the dream, it's almost like I'm at a library or some building with my mother. And it's like my niece and nephew, when they were little, when they were probably about 4 or 5 years old. They're in their 30s now. Well, one is 28, one is 31, and the other one is 33. Well, anyway, it was, they were playing in this building, like a library, and they jump on the elevator. Now, one jumps on the elevator, and then they become afraid. They become afraid of going down the elevator. Now, one of them tries to stay without dropping down, and his body gets pushed out. He looks like to be about 3 or 4 years old. His body get pushed out, and I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna die. He came back around to me and said, I said, how did you make it? How did you make it? He was like, I got sucked in the dryer that rotates and moves all the clothes around. And I was like, okay. I'm not, of course, in dream, nothing makes sense, but it makes sense in dream. So then the elevator comes back up, and my nephew is sitting on top of the elevator. My other nephew, this is my older nephew. I think he's 33, 34 now. And so he was about, 3 in the dream or whatever. And so he's sitting on top of the elevator doors. So the elevator is getting ready to go up, and I'm telling him, get down, get down. You're going to get crushed. And so I'm just like, I can't even look. He won't get down. His head is getting ready to crush in. And so the elevator goes up, but it doesn't crush him. It stops. He gets to stop it, and then he hops off. Now, the only person that is left is my niece. My niece, I think right now she's 31. In the dream, she was 2. She's still in the elevator. She drops down. I don't get her. She drops down in the elevator, and I got to go and find her. So I go down wherever she is in the elevator, and someone else she fell or something, because I had a vision of her falling. So she fell, and someone else had taken her and given her a whole different name, told her that she belonged to her. It was another, and it wasn't even a grown lady. This entity was like a child, maybe a teenager. And she was telling her who she was. And I was like, no, this is not who she is. Like, I was calling her name. I said, no. I said, you coming with me. You're coming with me. And she was like, no, you don't belong with her. You belong here, da, 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 da. So I had to get in my niece's face. Now, at this point, my niece morphs into a different look. She doesn't look like my niece anymore. She looks like some type of Latino or Puerto Rican baby. But I still have this connection as if she's my niece. Like, I'm only telling y'all this for the visual effect, but it was nothing different that I felt other than this was a connection to me. This was my niece. And I kept calling her name, and I was in her face calling her name, and she was just looking like she was out of it. She had no clue. So I end up taking her. Now, as I'm going out of this dream, I started to see a child. I started to see I started, as I'm coming out, like I'm almost like in two different worlds. Like I'm almost asleep, but I'm not. I see a toddler, and then I see like an infant. But nobody is really watching them playing. It's like they're in somebody's living room playing. Well, anyway, the toddler causes the infant to fall and hit his head, and he dies. And so as I was laying down and I kept replaying this, and I was working on replaying it so the infant didn't die, but it never occurred. So then I was taken to see what is the next steps for the guardians of this infant. And I started to feel and see that the guardians or parents of this infant were going to bury the baby in the backyard or somewhere. They were just going to bury it, and they weren't going to inform authorities of what had happened, because they could be liable based on the fact that they weren't watching the child. All right, so that was a trance state that I was in. But before that, you know, when I was talking about my niece, that was a dream. That dream had ended, and then I had went into that trance state. So that was my dream. Oh, also on the elevator situation, I did forget this. This is something that stuck out to me as well. You know, I told you about my nephew that was sitting on the doors of the elevator as the elevator was going up, and he was about to hit his head. Well, when he went up and came down, went up, came down. Well, as he came around back to me, there was something like this scar that was on his side of his head. And I don't know if it was from going up and down or something, or what even that meant of that scar on the side of his head. But he came back around, he was okay, but it was just that scar that was there on his head. So that was, you know, kind of confusing to me as well. So I haven't had a chance to sit with any parts of this too much. Very, very active dream around last night. The soldiers, the church, then the armed soldiers, and then only one soldier remaining that there wasn't even a body inside of. It was really just a spirit. I was able to go into this beautiful garden, and I was able to control the soldier, and I was able to, whatever I said or did, was able to knock down those soldiers. I don't know. It's so many different parts. For me, I'm going to go back and look at this video again. I always go back and look at my videos again, because it helps me get a better understanding of my dream. Listen to it again of any information that Spirit may have said through me while I'm not even knowing that it's coming out. And it helps me in that perspective as well. But again, like I always like to share, if you have any type of I would say, intuitive guidance or messages in regards to the dreams and the trans messages that I just received, do not hesitate to share, post a comment here. Please feel free to message me. You can message me here. You can message me on Instagram, The Black Fit Witch, and help me, pick out, decipher, or see what it means to you in your life. Or if anything has happened to a newborn baby lately that a family has a toddler and had a newborn. And even in the trance, I was kind of like, so what are they going to tell their family and friends? Because they know she was pregnant and they know she had a baby. Now the baby's no more. Like, what are they going to say? So that part was very weird. That wasn't a dream. I want you all to understand that that's not a dream. Okay, I don't know what the fancy word is for it, y'all. If y'all know, if y'all metaphysicians know all of these words and what to call it, let me know. But I was in between two different states. I wasn't dreaming. I wasn't all the way sleep dreaming. And I may have been having a remote viewing. I know Divine Connection 228 has told me that before, that I was having remote viewing. Maybe I'm having a remote viewing of this toddler infant situation. I don't know. And like I said before, everything and all of us are interconnected. So my consciousness being able to tap in and out of different places is not strange to me anymore. It's been doing it for a long time. I know back when I was like 19, I had a traumatic situation happen to me. I was able to see different things that occurred in my dream before it happened on the news. And when I would look at the news, it would be like, oh my God, like I just saw this lady in my dream last night of this happening to her. So I had to stop watching the news for a while because it was really too much that was going on. So I'm sure this has probably happened on the news somewhere. That my mind and consciousness is able to project to see, and it's bringing it to my awareness. So if anything connects with you all, again, please share with me. It helps me, it helps us, it helps us all, because you never know who's going to come back, read your comments, read these messages, and listen to this video. So it really does help. No matter how small or big you think your comment is, it helps somebody who may see this now, or they may see it 20 years from now. All right, so as always, I want to leave you in peace and